Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So you might not be able to detect exactly where we are, but right around there, I think. That's the Statue of Liberty right in between us. So she's back in the background. And it's only about 7 in the morning, but it feels like it's about 900 degrees.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And the sun is beaming like anything.
Yeah.
So,
the police are here now.
She's the Lady of Liberty, and we are going to try to achieve perfection and liberation by reading the Bhagavatam.
All right. I was distracted because the police came, they did a U-turn and left. But in America, with all due respect, it is like, you don't mess with the police here. We all know that, don't we?
Okay, so
let's not open that up, but you know what I mean.
Where are we reading from? I'm not even sure I'm in the shot because we're trying to get this thing right.
Canto 4, Chapter 6, Text 37. Brahma satisfies Lord Shiva.
Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Alright, text 37. He was seated on a straw mattress and speaking to all present, including the great sage Narada, to whom he specifically spoke about the absolute truth. Purport. The Lord was sitting on a mattress of straw because such a sitting place is accepted by persons who are practicing austerities to gain understanding of the absolute truth. In this verse, it is specifically mentioned that he was speaking to the great sage Narada, a celebrated devotee. Narada was asking Lord Shiva about devotional service, and Shiva, being the topmost Vaishnava, was instructing him. In other words, Lord Shiva and Narada were discussing the knowledge of the Vedas, but it is to be understood that the subject matter was devotional service. Another point in this connection is that Lord Shiva is the supreme instructor and the great sage Narada is the supreme audience. Therefore, the supreme subject matter of Vedic knowledge is bhakti or devotional service. So nice scene there, because Lord Brahma's gone there to Kailash mountain with the demigods, because demigods need to explain themselves and apologize for their behavior. And what do they see? They see Lord Shiva sitting there on a straw mat humbly, and he's instructing Narada Muni on devotional service. After his very mind, his wife's died and everything, but he's, he's not freaking out and he's not crying and rolling on the floor, but he's sitting on the straw mat, and he's got sages, as explained before, around him, and principal, one of them being Narada Muni, and he's instructing him about devotional service. So very nice scene, and says a lot about his character as well. But that side point, that doesn't mean, because we discussed this recently, because we're here in America teaching the devotee care course. We just did it in Columbus, and we're going to Alachua. It doesn't mean, so I should be like that and negate emotions. I'm not saying Lord Shiva wasn't, see if someone passes away, anyway, we should be like Lord Shiva, and look, he was just talking and preaching devotional service, and one should mourn the loss of a loved one and not be like artificial. Just want to say that disclaimer.
Explain your what?
I wanted to say that disclaimer.
Disclaimer, okay. Yeah, so of course one also shouldn't become morose for ages and years and decades, but it's natural to feel loss or separation from someone, but you can see that it's easy to move on when we have good association, strong devotees, and also we're hearing Krishna Katha. Then we become steeped also in the knowledge of eternality, while at the same time being real about the fact that we've lost someone we love, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, 38. We don't know what that means, but when it's hot, the old missus, she's...
Yeah, the sun is beaming down on me, so this isn't a good spot for me.
Yeah, she doesn't fare well in heat.
No, I get heat rage at the best of times.
So you thought Lord Shiva was bad. Okay, text 38. His left leg was placed on his right thigh, and his left hand was placed on his left thigh. The sitting posture is called Virasana. In his right hand he held Rudraksha beads, and his finger was in the mode of argument. The sitting posture described herein is called Virasana. According to the system of Ashtanga Yoga performances, according to the system of Ashtanga Yoga performances. In the performance of yoga, there are 8 divisions, such as yama and niyama, controlling and following the rules and regulations, then practicing sitting postures. Besides Virasana, there are other sitting postures, such as Padmasana and Siddhasana. Practice of these asanas without elevating oneself to the position of realizing the Supersoul Vishnu is not the perfectional stage of yoga. Lord Shiva is called Yogeshwara, the master of all yogis, and Krishna is called Yogeshwara. Yogeshwara indicates that no one can surpass the yoga practice of Lord Shiva, and Yogeshwara indicates that no one can surpass the yogic perfection of Krishna. So there's the practitioner, and there is the person in perfection. Another significant word is Tarka Mudra. This indicates that the fingers are open and the second finger is raised along with the arm to impress the audience with some subject matter. This is actually a symbolic representation. Yeah, like that. Second finger from the front. Pointer finger. There's nice famous pictures of Prabhupada like going like
and
that.
Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah. So, anyway, so we can see it's just describing the scene, how the Lord how Lord Shiva is sitting in his conversation. So he's obviously speaking to Narada Muni, but impressing upon him a powerful point. And I think it's interesting, Narada Muni, he sort of shows up everywhere. It's like it's like the Cheshire Cat and Alice in Wonderland. Well, greater than the Cheshire Cat, obviously, but like that, the fact, wherever something's happening, he is there, and there is, he showed up before the demigods, and, Prabhupada's saying they're discussing devotional service, but who knows what, they might have already been talking, and Narada Muni's kind of like, yeah, Lord Shiva, do you think it was a little bit excessive? No? Okay, and maybe Lord Shiva is saying, no, it was not excessive. They could have been discussing anything, so, okay.
Text 39. All the sages and demigods headed by Indra offered their respectful obeisances unto Lord Shiva with folded hands. Lord Shiva was dressed in saffron garments and absorbed in trance, thus appearing to be the foremost of all sages. In this verse, the word Brahmananda is significant. This Brahmananda or Brahma Nirvana is explained by Prahlad Maharaj. When one is completely absorbed in the Adhoksaja, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond the sense perception of materialistic persons, one is situated in Brahmananda.
Thoughts on that paragraph? Looks like you can walk across. Maybe they work over there so they can walk.
Yeah, I'm not walking across that rickety bridge.
Cars are driving, as you can see, so it's not so rickety, but this is what we deal with on a daily basis.
Walking. You're walking and you can look down and you can see the water, and then I'm in the middle and I'll get all like, and I'll fall in. I ain't walking on that.
Okay, any thoughts on what you just read about Brahmananda or Brahma Nirvana, which obviously you've not attained quite yet? But...
Well, how do you know? So, yeah, that what stood out for me is that the sages and demigods, headed by Indra, so Indra is there, they came and they offered their obeisances to Lord Shiva. So they all humbled. Oops. They all humbled and came there. Big, they're not your like
average motley crew,
B class or C class demigods. All lined up, the elitist mahants of demigods. So it's interesting. It says something about Shiva, and also says really more so that they did wrong, because really you wouldn't do that. And more than that, it's more, I would say, fair as well, because when you realise, jeepers, I really messed up, and then the way the other person acted is a bit scary, and I don't want that happening to me, so I better say sorry now. Because demigods are motivated in that way as well.
There you go.
They're attached.
Okay, next paragraph for this purport. Here comes some big truck, I think. Always some crazy noise. It was so quiet here earlier. I mean, you could hardly hear anything.
I know.
The old garbage truck. It is impossible to conceive of the existence, name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because He is transcendently situated beyond the conception of materialistic persons. Because materialists cannot imagine or conceive of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they may think that God is dead. But factually, He is always existing in His Satchidananda Vigraha, His eternal form. Constant meditation concentrated on the form of the Lord is called samadhi, ecstasy, or trance. Samadhi means particularly concentrated attention. So one who has achieved the qualification of always meditating on the personality of Godhead is to be understood to be always in trance and enjoying Brahma Nirvana or Brahmananda. Lord Shiva exhibited those symptoms, and therefore it is stated that he was absorbed in Brahmananda. So you said, how do you know? Because we're always absorbed. And if you're always absorbed in Krishna, then you have no fear. Actually, you become abhay. There is no fear, no anxiety, because you're actually always situated in trance on the Supreme Lord. So, yeah, we can see here that this is the state of consciousness, I guess, of Lord Shiva, and probably of Narada Muni as well.
All right, next paragraph. Another significant word is yoga kaksham. Yoga kaksha is the sitting posture in which the left thigh is fixed under one's tightly knotted saffron-coloured garment. Also, the words manunam, adyam are significant here because they mean a philosopher or one who is thoughtful and can think very nicely. Such a man is called Manu. Lord Shiva is described in this verse as the chief of all thinkers. Lord Shiva, of course, does not engage in useless mental speculation, but as stated in the previous verse, he is always thoughtful regarding how to deliver the demons from their fallen condition of life. It is said that during the advent of Lord Shiva, Sadashiva appeared...
Advent of Lord Chaitanya.
Oh yeah, it is said that during the advent of Lord Chaitanya, Sadashiva appeared as Advaita Prabhu. And Advaita Prabhu's chief concern was to elevate the fallen conditioned souls to the platform of devotional service to Lord Krishna. Since people were engaged in useless occupations which would continue their material existence, Lord Shiva, in the form of Lord Advaita, appealed to the Supreme Lord to appear as Lord Chaitanya to deliver these illusioned souls. Actually, Lord Chaitanya appeared on the request of Lord Advaita. Similarly, Lord Shiva has a sampradaya, the Rudra Sampradaya. He is always thinking about the deliverance of the fallen souls as exhibited by Lord Advaita Prabhu. Mm-hmm. So what stood out, which I didn't mention before, is that Shiva is wearing saffron garments, which I've not heard of before, because normally he wears some animal skin. Mm-hmm. I think it's deer skin. or tiger or something.
Yeah, usually that's what you see.
So it's
Leopard
unusual.
skin or tiger skin.
Yeah, he's quite fashionable. I guess leopard skin is fashionable for some people, but it's unusual. So that stood out for me. I don't know if that's post-wife passing away and he's kind of like renounced in that mood, as it were. I've never heard of him wearing saffron actually ever, or even seen pictures of him wearing saffron. Also, it's nice to point out that he's Advaita Prabhu in Lord Chaitanya's Leela, because if you know of Sri Advaita Prabhu, so many penances he did with Tulsi and Shalagram Sheila just to bring Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here, and just to deliver and to be merciful to the conditioned souls of Kali Yuga. So it's another nice aspect, because especially, you know, people can relate when you're growing up, especially in Hindu families, these aspects which Srila Prabhupada is bringing out in his books of Lord Shiva, they're not really, you don't know these, you don't know this side of him, as it were, which is very merciful and caring, and actually, and not that he's seen as a bad personality, but almost kind of fearful, kind of, you know, like that. So it's interesting. It seems very soft and merciful and peaceful, and he just wants to sit there and meditate, and when people annoy him, he's going to get annoyed, which is relatable actually. So actually he's a very good personality.
Yeah, so Advaita Acharya is also he's a combination of Sadashiv and Mahavishnu, so both of them together, although more often he's referred to as, you know, an incarnation of Advaita Acharya, of Mahavishnu. More often Mahavishnu. So like that. So I think we've been reading for...
I think we've read enough. I'm sorry, because this side of my face is baked like a baked potato. So I'm done.
Okay, so
I'm not able to be equipoised like Lord Shiva.
Okay, so we'll pick up again another time.
Yes.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Yes.
Please remember to like,
comment,
subscribe,
and share.
And we'll see you next time. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. New York City, the beginning of the Hare Krishna movement in the West. Ki
Jai.
Nitai Go Premanandi.
Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.